how I would beat Islam Makhachev.
He clips him behind the head. That's it.
Quick disclaimer, I'm not actually fighting anymore. I'm retired. So I'm not actually trying to get a fight with Islam. That's not gonna happen. But if I was to fight this guy again, okay, here's how I would do it. We're gonna get to the grappling in a bit. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because it's gonna be interesting. There's a little secret that I think that nobody else has really tried on him yet, and I believe he's vulnerable. Okay, first, striking. Now, this is honestly the most important part, because if you can't beat this guy in a striking fight, as we saw with the Volkanovski issue that he was experiencing, even if I can deal with his grappling and get back to my feet and break off, I still gotta beat this guy in striking. And like I said, he's good, okay? He doesn't have a garbage striking game. He's gonna have good kicks. He's got good long range strikes. He's got a good left hand. It's a problem. But the bigger problem is the grappling assault. In order to stay away from the grappling assault, you must keep your back off the fence. And in order to do that, you gotta move forward. If you were allowing Islam to push you back almost 100%, he's gonna get to a grip on your leg or arm or body. And if he does that, it's really hard to defend the takedown. You might be able to do it once, you might be able to do it twice, but to do it for 25 minutes straight is a pretty tall order. So in order to stop him from getting a grip, I would push forward. Not completely, because obviously that'll make it easy for him to just cut the distance and get into my leg. Okay, I would press forward in a lower stance, okay, and be willing to take a little bit back at any point. If you want to see this done really well, watch Conor McGregor versus Chad Mendes. He did it very well. And honestly, Conor was really good at this and did it in most of his fights. He'd always push the person back till they were on the fence. Gives you space to defend the takedown. And Volkanovski did a great job of this. Okay, he did a great job of making sure he was owning the center of the octagon and had Islam backing up. Now, the problem was Volkanovski, unlike myself, okay, has some real short little baby arms. Unfortunate against a guy that's a long southpaw. But he was still able to close the distance. And he was doing that using the shift. Shifting is when you are fighting in one stance and then you shift your feet into the other stance, which allows you to cover a massive amount of ground really fast. If I have to keep one foot in front of the other and shuffle like this and shuffle like this, and the other guy is doing this, okay, they're gonna be able to cover that ground really quick, and I'm gonna be like, oh, how the hell did you get there that fast? Right? And this is kind of what happened. So we've been working on this specific shift actually recently at my gym. It's something that I was doing when I was fighting Naoyuki Kotani in UFC Japan back in like 2015. Okay, so I throw the right hand, boom, the guy's gonna circle that way. When he does so, I switch my stance and I sit on that front leg. Okay, and now here I've got that big hook, and then I'm in the pocket. The guy thinks I can't hit him from that far away, but when I switch my feet, I cover so much ground that I get right in his face, and now bang, bang. He's not only dealing with a pretty big angle shift, but I went from long range where you can kick me to pretty much knee range or close punching range, right? Hook range, overhand range in like that long, okay? That quick, that's how long it takes. So really good strategy by Volk. Problem with that strategy is that it's kind of like a surprise attack. Right? So if you do it once, guys like, oh damn, do it again. He's like, oh, okay, do it a third time. Now he's just gonna slip a little further back, or he's gonna close the distance when you do it. And if you do this all the time and you get caught in the middle, it's like real bad. Like, don't do it. I honestly took a lot of forward shifts out of my game just because if you ever get caught in the middle of that, right, you're like, boom, and then you're shifting like this and you get caught, like you got no structure under you. Those shock absorbers are no longer there. It's a problem. Okay, so I don't do it often, but it was a good strategy for Volkman to have. Now, you also, if you're gonna beat a guy like Islam, if I was gonna beat him, I would use more than just shifting. Number one, I'm longer than the guy, so I'm gonna use my lead right hand. Not from here though. Okay, if I try to throw my right hand from here, he'll probably catch me on the way in, right there, bang. Okay, because he's got a good left hand, bang, he's gonna hit me right there. So I would do it like this. Okay, I would keep my head on the front side. If you keep your head here against southpaw, if you're orthodox, right, open stance, then it's way harder for them to hit you with their cross. Okay, you're farther away from their cross. Right in front of their cross, further away from their cross. Okay, and now you're halfway through your right hand already, right? So it's not as powerful, but it's gonna land with crazy accuracy and at a time they don't expect. Okay, so bang, 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 right? I would be firing off that right hand a lot, almost like it was a jab, okay? But from that position, so I'm a little closer than they expect, and the right hand happens a little faster than from here. Okay, harder for them to see. Okay, last thing from striking is I would need to make sure I had kick game, right? Which obviously I have kick game. Pretty much nobody that I fought in the show was ever able to deal with my kick game, including Makhachev. And that's a huge weapon at distance. And now if you have distance game, right? Like you got front kick, you got round kick, your basic Muay Thai weapons, that's one thing and it'd be really, really effective. But you can be even longer if you're utilizing taekwondo, which is not something that everybody believes, but taekwondo actually works in MMA. I know like Pettis obviously used it, but not all that often. If you watch my usage of taekwondo throughout my UFC career, I used it quite heavily, right? Using scissors, right? From one foot to the other, using spinning attacks and stepping attacks, boom, boom. When doing this, we cover way more distance. The taekwondo kick in itself is a little longer because instead of using your shin, use your foot. Which obviously that can be a problem if you're hitting a shin with it, but it's not a problem if you're going bang right to the jawline. Just look at Rose Namajunas and how she beat Wei Li that first time. Bang! Right up and under. Quick connection, really useful, really long. So these are my strategies that I would be employing if I was to again fight Makhachev. Now, the grappling. Here's where it gets tricky. Okay, because obviously he's really good at grappling. Now we saw that Volkanovski was able to shut down his game a lot of the time, but what did he get for it? In order to shut down Islam's game, he knew Islam doesn't really care about mount, about back control. He just wants to be on top. So what he did was he would give Makhachev his back. He would put all of his structures, both hands, both legs, down to the ground, and he would work up from there, okay? And be like, go ahead and take my back, Makhachev, which Islam did take his back. But Volk went belly up, and it was very difficult for Islam to finish from there. Now, I don't like to give my back. I feel like if I gave my back, I already lost, okay? So I refuse to do that. I will not put all my structures on the ground. I will use a wizard when I get up. Although that's not as easy to get up if you just have a wizard as if you put your hands on the ground, right? Obviously, 4 hands down or four points down versus 3 points down. 4 points is probably gonna be easier to get up with weight on top of you, but it gives people your back. So I would rather put the wizard. And then when the person drives into me, boom, I'm gonna start using sweeps. They're gonna have to let go when I start using sweeps and balance. Now when they let go, I can start attacking with my submission game, with my triangle specifically. And then what happens when people get triangled? What do? What's the #1 defensive triangle? My coach used to tell me, Bill Hood always used to say, when you get triangled, look to God. He's the only one that can save you. So we posture, right? We go head up, we get posture. So the person goes from here to here. Hard to hold somebody down when your head's way up here. You're too far away. And it also exposes your legs. When people posture, their legs become available. And boom, if it's me, I'm going K-guard. I'm going under. If he runs, bam, I'm clamping that. I'm going backside 50-50. If he doesn't, if he comes head over me, I'm going to just go under and go to front side 50-50 and then work to sweep, submit, or stand up from there. Okay, and I believe personally that these guys lack knowledge of these newer positions. They don't understand 50-50 like I understand it. They definitely don't understand it like Ryan Hall understands it. I kind of believe that in a grappling match, Ryan Hall beats Islam Makhachev even with the weight discrepancy. I don't think these guys have studied the new school developments in the game. They're really good at the old school and some of the older stuff that a lot of us have forgotten, like judo. Judo has been working for years. Fedor is phenomenal at judo. There's a reason why he was so dominant. It's been working for a long time, but we're just kind of catching up now, right? But they forgot to figure out ashigarami, inside senkaku, 50-50. These are really, really strong positions that we can use to finish legs and also get sweeps and get on top. And they don't expose your back like Volkanovski. I want to call him Volkman. Like Volkanovski did. They do not expose your back. Okay, so here's how I would approach it. In the grappling, I would scramble like the cage was fire and the ground was fire. You can see that I was doing this versus Rustam Khabilov. I was not doing this versus Islam. And even though I lost to Rustam, everybody knows I didn't lose that fight, right? You can see how the different applications worked. You can see how much I learned from Islam and then went to and applied to Rustam, and all of the things started working much better than before. All right, so we need to be at par with or at least have some understanding of their judo, of their leg wrap game. We need that. And then once we can make that fight difficult for them, then we can bring them into our game. Okay, we can bring them into that submission attack that leads into leg lock entanglements that force them to either put their weight on top of us, at which point we can sweep them and finish the leg or get on top, or run away. And if they run from the leg lock, which most people did when I leg locked them, it's easy get up or back tape. All right, and that will stop you from getting your back exposed. Would stop me from getting my back exposed and has stopped me from getting my back exposed. Find one person that got to my back in the UFC. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, long range game, push them back. Defend the takedown with everything. Be willing to use your guard to attack submissions that will cause posture so you can go under and into the legs, and then attack those legs like you want to rip them off to force the person to either leave and let you up or die in the bear trap. I'm not fighting again. I don't want to fight Islam. I don't want to fight anybody. I'm here to help the next generation beat Islam. If that's you, listen to what I'm saying, because if you can implement this strategy, these Dagestanis won't run the game for long.